Welcome to the fifth of our sermons by video. It seems ages since it was Mothering Sunday, doesn't it? But the weeks are passing and hopefully we are making progress in dealing with the coronavirus and all its terrible impact on so many people's lives. Before I get into the subject for today, I do want to encourage you to make the most of the flexibility that the videos offer us. You can switch me off whenever you like. And I would certainly encourage you to read the Bible passage before you listen to me, because that's the most important thing. And today we're looking at Romans chapter 8, verses 28 to 39. Other people have said how much they appreciated the opportunity to take communion. Well, of course, you can reuse the video. You don't have to just use it once. But anyway, back to our topic. 2 or 3 days ago, I received 2 pieces of paper through the letterbox. One was a brown envelope from HMRC wanting me to fill in my self-assessment tax return. That didn't do me a great deal of good. It didn't cheer me up at all. The other was a sheet, this sheet actually, and it was offering to help me if I needed to get things from the pharmacy, if I needed urgent supplies, if I was lonely and wanted someone to talk to. That did cheer me up because it reminded me of one of the many good things that are taking place in the midst of all the difficulties that we're facing, that so many people have volunteered to help others. At the last count, I think it was 750,000. Amazing that people are willing to give their time and energy and take risks to help other people. But the verse I want us to focus on chimes in with that, because at the beginning of this amazing passage from this incredible chapter, Romans chapter 8, Paul says this: "We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." God, Paul claims, is working to bring good things out of every situation. Now, Paul was not a naive person. He'd experienced so much suffering himself, he couldn't possibly be that. He'd seen suffering all around him. His world was full of cruelty and hardship. So he was not being naive. Indeed, he refers a bit later on to all the things that might happen to us. Trouble, hardship, persecution, famine, nakedness, danger or sword. Well, out of that whole list, I suppose we might claim 2 are impacting us now: trouble and danger. And Paul says, even with all these terrible things that can happen to us, God is a God who is working to bring good out of every situation. In all things, God is at work for good. Yes, God is at work for good, even in the tragedy and the suffering and the anxiety and the power to kill of coronavirus, trouble and danger. God is still at work. He doesn't turn his back on his world just because things get difficult. God is at work, and at work to bring out good things. Why is Paul so sure of that? At the heart of this passage, we understand why, because he talks about the fact that Christ died and then says, but more than this, he was raised to life. And for Paul, this is the foundational rock on which he builds his theology. That's why he knows, even in the most terrible of circumstances, the death of the Messiah, God is still at work to bring good out of them. And he does through the resurrection of Jesus. And so I want you to think for a minute about some of the good things that you, and probably your neighbours as well, have noticed in the present situation. One of the things people mention is, isn't it lovely to have less traffic? And certainly when I go out on my cycle, which I do for my exercise a couple of times a week, that's one of the things I notice. It feels much safer being a cyclist on the road. Other people have commented about being able to take time and enjoy their gardens, or to have more time to phone friends or FaceTime with their family. Good things that God is bringing out in the present circumstances. But I wonder what you would put in your list. Many non-Christians notice the same kind of things, but we see them with an extra dimension because we see these things as God's gift to us. And James says in chapter 1 that every good gift comes from God, who doesn't change at all. God is always consistently seeking to bring good out of the difficulties. And how can we respond differently as well as see the world with an extra dimension? Well, I believe one of the things we should be doing all the time is thanking God for all the good things that he is at work to bring to us in the troubles and the danger. Perhaps we can also pray that he will open our eyes to see more good things and to see more profoundly that they are his gift. But I want to leave you with a challenge, because I believe this enables us to talk to our neighbours, perhaps to say to them, I've been thanking God for all the good things that are happening in the midst of these troubles and dangers. Perhaps even praying for them and helping them to see with the eyes of faith that there is a God who loves them, a God who brought Jesus Christ back from the dead, and a God who is always at work in all things to bring good to those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And in the second video, I want to look at a couple of issues that verse raises for us. But thank you for listening so far. Enjoy your day, thank God, and help your neighbours to begin to glimpse God in their lives too. God bless you.